Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a couple minutes here and respond to a short little video by a Muslim named Xiaahmad, if that's how you're supposed to say it, I don't know. But his video is called Dr. William Lane, Trinity is not in the Old Testament, Hebrew Scriptures. Now, aside from the grammatical and spelling errors of this video, as well as its just plain incoherence, I wanted to respond to this Muslim's comments on a William Lane Craig clip that was taken from his appearance on Lee Strobel's Faith Under Fire. Now, a lot of you might know that I have some problems with Craig theologically, mostly on Reformed theology, but when it comes to the Trinity, I think that he's pretty spot on, and I really don't think that it's right of this Muslim to pretty much unfairly twist what he's saying. And so in this video, I will be defending Craig in his comments. And so here's the clip.
Learn, hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Why don't we have a clear text anywhere in the Hebrew Bible that gives us the Nicene Creed, the very clear statement of a triune doctrine? It's found nowhere in the Hebrew Bible. Our salvation depends on worshiping God in truth, and therefore, let's look at the Bible itself.
That's a fair question. Bill, how would you respond to that? It seems to me, it comes down to the question of, is the New Testament trustworthy? Does it contradict, though, what the Old Testament is saying?
I think that's exactly right, Lee. We're coming at this question from two different sets of scripture or wholly inspired writings. And I would agree with Tovia that if you approach this question simply on the basis of the Hebrew Bible or what we would call the Old Testament, one wouldn't come to believe that God is a Trinity. Simply on the basis of the Hebrew Bible or what we would call the Old Testament, one wouldn't come to believe that God is a Trinity. Simply on the basis of the Hebrew Bible or what we would call the Old Testament, one wouldn't come to believe that God is a Trinity.
Now, amazingly, this Muslim has taken this and claimed that it's proof that the Trinity is not taught in the Old Testament, saying, quote, proven Trinity is not an OT, in demonstrating a clear lack of critical thinking skills. First of all, Craig did not even assert that the Trinity isn't at all found in the Old Testament, but that if one had the Old Testament alone, one would not arrive at the doctrine of the Trinity. There's a big difference between saying that and that it's not at all found in the Old Testament. Craig does teach that because we have God's more complete revelation in the New Testament that we can look back and see the Trinity in the Old Testament, even if the Old Testament itself doesn't clearly, systematically lay out the doctrine for us. God chose to reveal the Trinity progressively. That is, he chose, for whatever reason, to only partially reveal the Trinity in the Old Testament before he more fully revealed it in the New Testament. Why is that? We don't know, but that doesn't mean that the Trinity isn't at all found in the Old Testament. Second, even if Dr. Craig did say this, how does this prove that the Trinity isn't found in the Old Testament? All it would prove is that Craig doesn't believe it's in the Old Testament. Again, this Muslim shows us that he simply lacks the ability to think through these issues clearly. And so perhaps next time he should try to take a moment and actually think through what it is he's trying to say before he makes what I would consider an absolute embarrassment of Islam if I were a Muslim. Thanks for watching.